Alrighty, so just got out of The Jungle Book. Uh, this is a weird one for me. This is another one of those ones I really wasn't planning on seeing, but basically, I like doing these reviews, so I had to go see a movie. And this one was one of those ones that it's like, well, what the hell? Let's go try something out. Um, but in sitting here thinking about it, I mean, I just got out of it not 10 minutes ago, and I'm trying to think of what to say about it. I mean, it was a motion picture. I mean, it had moving pictures, so that's good. But on the whole, it doesn't leave a big impression on me. I wanted to get that out of the way because now I have to try to back up out of here, and it's crowded because this is the first time I went and saw one of these things the day it came out. So you never know how traffic is. So give me just a second to get out of here. Kids, don't text and drive or record videos while you're doing it. Do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, it's not a bad picture. I think I can understand how somebody could go and see this movie and really get a kick out of it and get a lot out of it and really enjoy it. I think if you have a kid who really loves animals, then this is going to be like their new favorite thing ever. It's not terrible. It really has very few. There's only like one or two parts of it I would say are bad, and I'll get to those in a second. But on the whole, it's just kind of there, you know. Let's try to be positive first. I think visually it's a very, very good movie. I think it's very beautifully shot. Jon Favreau does a really nice job. He seems to be very good with those kind of special effects films, and the special effects don't look as bad as I kind of thought they would from like the trailers and the TV commercials. So that's good. And like I say, visually it's a very beautiful film, and the score is really nice. I really like whoever did the score. I couldn't see it because people were getting up in front of me when the film was over, so I couldn't make out who did the score. But it's really nice. It's almost one of those movies I wish they'd made it like a movie with no dialogue, because you could have followed the story really well and just listened to the really pretty music and seen the really nice visuals, and I think it would have worked just as well. So that worked well. I think the kid who plays Mowgli does about as good as a 9-year-old, or however old he is, in his first film can do. He's a little wooden in parts, and there's some lines of dialogue that are really corny, but I think he does, he does okay. He's not great, but he's not terrible. And also I think you have to give him some credit, because I can't really tell how often he was forced to act against a green screen, and that's hard for an adult to do. So in that aspect, he did really well. I mean, it really felt like he was talking to whatever was there, and there were times when there was not, in fact, a giant bear there. The voice acting is kind of 50-50. Idris Elba does a nice job as Shere Khan. I kind of like the take they did on Shere Khan. It was a little different than the animated version. I don't know if it was as good, and I'll get to that again in a second, but I think on the whole it was different, and he just has that great villain voice, so it worked. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera was good. Scarlett Johansson as Kaa was probably the best, and she's only in it for like 10 seconds. But she does the voice really good to go with the really creepy visuals. Of course, I am scared to death of snakes, so right away, right there, you've got a scare for me. Bill Murray as Baloo sounds like he's asleep throughout the entire film. It sounds very phoned in. I'm not even a very big Bill Murray fan, or a fan at all. I know there are people who just adore him, but for me, it's very dull, and especially when you consider Baloo, kind of the image a lot of us have of him from the Disney version and from Tailspin. Coming in there with just kind of a very lazy kind of read, it just didn't work. It didn't work for me at all. So Christopher Walken as King Louis would have worked, but here's the thing. Here's one of the bad moments of this movie. So it follows the beats of the animated one a lot. It adds some scenes to flush out the runtime. It rips off the Lion King a bit. So he goes and Mowgli goes to King Louis, and King Louis, with the voice of Christopher Walken, is doing like this very Godfather kind of gangster kind of thing, very subtle, saying, "I'll strike a deal with you, kid, and we can keep you in the jungle." And all of a sudden, he breaks into this very weird rendition of "I Want to Be Like You," and the original "Want to Be Like You" is this 60s jive kind of, a lot of scatting and a lot of scuba-dooba. It's this big party scene in the original. And this, with him being like I say, almost a gangster, the song is so out of place. Like, they're trying to make "I Want to Be Like You" sound like "Be Prepared" or "Poor Unfortunate Souls," and it doesn't bloody work. It is terrible. So that is a moment that I'm just like, that's a shame. Other than that, there's not much to say about this movie. This movie confounds me by its own existence. And again, it's not a bad picture. It has some bad moments. There's nothing really terrible in it. But there's nothing that makes it stand out either, which is almost as big a sin. Say what you want, and I have, and a lot of other people have as well, about Batman v Superman. But at least it was bad in a way that got you talking. Like, I didn't expect my review of that one to go so long, but once you started talking, it just kept going and going and going. This one, I don't have much to say. And I think that's the problem with it. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these ones. I don't get this philosophy Disney has all of a sudden to let's do these live-action remakes of our animated films. To me, and this is my judgment, and if you disagree, then that's fine. Nothing saying I'm the law of the land here. There are two reasons to remake a film. Number one, because it sucked. And the original did not suck. It's a little dated, to be sure, but suck? No, it's still a fun film. It's still a good movie. Number two, if you have something new and different and your own, unique, that you want to say with these characters or this setting. I don't know how many people remember this, but Disney actually did a live-action Jungle Book back in 1994. And what's funny is that if you watch that live-action Jungle Book next to their animated Tarzan, they're pretty much the same movie. They kind of did this. They kind of did what this movie did with the Jungle Book in reverse, wherein they took the plot of that Jungle Book and made it Tarzan. And that one had Mowgli more as a young adult, in his late teens, early 20s, suddenly kind of being discovered by people and trying to reintegrate into society. And it had Sam Neill as like the father character. Jason Scott Lee, who played Bruce Lee in the Bruce Lee biopic, was Mowgli. Carrie Elways was like the evil hunter. And this is kind of funny when I realized this when I was researching it. Lena Headey, who nowadays is best known as Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones, was the Jane Porter proper English lady damsel in distress, which is kind of funny to think about. Cersei Lannister being the damsel in distress. But anyway, that film, while not perfect, it had a different take on the characters and the world. And so I could understand why they'd make that film. This one, it has kind of a different take on it. It takes a little bit of a different slant. Enough to really justify its existence? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if it makes it work for me. Again, if if you like these kind of movies, if you're a big Disney fan, or if you got kids, then yeah, I can see that they may enjoy this movie. But if you want my personal opinion, if you want family advice from a eternally single person, which I'm sure you all do, instead of forking out however much it would cost for a family of, let's say, 4 or 5 to go to the movies, get snacks and all that, and go see this, go down to Best Buy, pick up the Jungle Book animated film. It's not that expensive, or I'm sure they've got it on Netflix or something like that, and have a family night at home and watch that film. Let's introduce kids to the classics instead of just saying, let's just remake it. And I know I spent a lot of this one talking about the original, but that's because this one leaves little to no impression on me. If it leaves an impression on you, then that's great. Go for it. Like I say, I can see how someone could go see this picture and enjoy it. I really could. It's not one of those things where if you told me you liked this movie, I'd be like, what, are you insane? I get it. I really do. But for me, the original was a lot cleaner. It was a lot neater. It was a lot more high energy. It was a lot more fun. So I say gather the kids around and have a movie night and watch this. It's funny. I remember when I was a kid, back when the videotape market was the thing, Disney would put their movies out on video for a little while and then take them out of print, meaning you couldn't get it anymore. And it'd be out of print for years. And then what they would do is they would re-release the movie to the theaters and then re-release it on video. And it was a huge success. Parents who grew up with the film could go and see it on the big screen, and kids who had never seen it before could be introduced to it. And I think that's a way better thing to do than just remaking these things with jazzier special effects. I mean, that's me. So if you got nothing to do, if you're like me and you're just like, you need something to do one night, or like I say, if you've got a family and you're looking for a night out, I don't think you kick yourself if you waste a couple bucks to go see this film, but it doesn't leave much of an impression. There's not a lot there, and there are moments in it that are so tonally off. I don't want to spoil a lot, but there's this scene where Mowgli goes back to fight Shere Khan in a very Lion King-esque thing. So he goes and steals this torch for the red flower, which is fire for those who don't know Jungle Book lore. And he's running back through the jungle with this thing, looking like an Olympian running to light the torch. And he gets back to where all the animals are. He's like, I'm here to challenge Shere Khan, and I'm not afraid of you. And Shere Khan looks at them, they're not afraid of me anymore. And everybody turns around, and like the entire jungle is on fire. Mowgli lit the jungle on fire, running this torch back there. And it's this moment that you're supposed to have kind of like the Simba Scar thing, where everyone kind of turns on the hero. But instead, it's just this, people in the audience, including myself, were laughing because it was just such a goofy moment. The kid's face is just like, ugh. So yeah, there's some tonal issues in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to rag on it too much, mainly because it's not really worth it. It's a film that exists. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just kinda there. So would I go see it, or would I buy it on DVD? No, I most certainly would not. But again, if you're the kind of person who loves Disney films, or you love animals, or anything like that, this could be a film you'd enjoy. So, if you got time and you feel like you got nothing else to do, go check it out. So that's all for this installment. I don't know what I'm seeing next week, but coming up soon, it's the big one. It's the one I'm waiting for, and a lot of other people are waiting for. Captain America Civil War, so I'm waiting for that one, and I am ready to dig it. Well, let's hope I dig it. Yeah, pickings have been slim. So until next time, drive safe, and we'll see you at the movies.